Hey, Case, do you know what really bugs me, really bothers me?
Well, I'm guessing that's what I'm sitting here to find out.
What bothers me is not being able to talk about what bothers me.
Yeah, that's fair.
That really gets under my
You
skin.
need a vent?
I may need to vent a little bit, but before I really vent, I think this particular episode of TFL Talking Trucks, we should really discuss what happened this week because a lot of things happened over the last 7 days or so.
That's true. We've been doing a lot. We've especially, it seems, been doing a lot with GMC trucks.
Exactly. We also did something that I think you and I are both really proud of.
Yeah.
We did another episode of drag racing with trailers or trailer drags. Is that a cool name? Trailer drags?
Yeah, I think so. And those are long days. It's a big effort, especially on Andre's part, to put all that together, get the trucks lined up, get the trailers lined up, get everything loaded. And it's a ton of driving around. How long yesterday do you think we were driving around to do a trailer drag race? Seven hours of driving?
Well, I think you and I met at like 8 in the morning, and then we got back at 5. So that was really, like 9 hours or something? 8 hours?
There was a bit of stopping to film and stopping to load and unload and everything. But we were driving for the majority of the day. So I would wager probably 7 hours of driving we did yesterday.
Yeah, but we should talk about it because we have a video on TFL Truck that focuses specific on the drag racing. But we were pretty successful with our heavy-duty drag race several weeks back.
Yeah, I think people appreciated seeing those trucks race with trailers behind them. So we decided to do the same thing.
Too.
Yeah, ultimately, it's always our goal to try and give people videos that they want to see. And, that's different for everybody. But a lot of people showed up for the HD trucks pulling trailers in a drag race. So we try to do the same thing for half tons.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you will come back for that too. So on TFL Truck channel. But we should talk about a little bit behind the scenes, right? Because a few things happened which were quite difficult, I would say. And we couldn't predict all of it. Let's just say that. So, and then we also have a couple news. So there's some Tundra news. So 2026 Tundra, it was rumored to be significantly refreshed, maybe have a lot of new features, maybe even a new look. But so we have news for that. You and Tommy specifically, took our GMC Canyon AT4X off-road.
Yeah, I was there for it in a different 4x4 on that same day, but I got to watch and help out and stack some rocks to get the canyon up to the top of Red Cone, which is one of our favorite trails.
Yes.
We can talk a little bit about that.
And then I took a giant GMC heavy duty. You mentioned it's a lot of GMC.
Yeah.
Ian and I went there, took a giant Overland build, the ultimate build by Overland Expo. We took it into the mountains because that's what those overland tracks are all about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Taking them into the wilds. And you and I have found a new thing to look for on Marketplace.
Yeah, and possibly buy. We're scheming a little bit. So we've got all of that to talk about today. Do you want to start off with the news?
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, before that, borscht news.
I didn't know there was news around borscht.
Oh.
I've never actually had borscht, Andre. I've heard the name.
Yes.
What is it?
It's actually pronounced slightly different. It's hard to pronounce in English. It's a beet-based soup that's really kind of like Slavic or Russian.
Is the flavor as strong as the color? Because it appears to be bright red, almost pink.
Sometimes purple, yeah. It depends on if it's milk-based or broth-based. So I wanted to really educate you on the borscht. I mean, do you want to
Yeah, well, you
that?
said there was summer and winter borscht, right? Is the summer one milk-based and the winter one is broth-based?
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it.
I knew it.
How did you know that?
Well, because you said that the summer one is cold.
Yes, it is. And then it's milk-based.
Yeah.
Or yogurt-based sometimes. I mean, you could go...
So which one is better? Summer or winter borscht?
Oh, wow. The summer...
Depends on the season, I guess.
Borscht. So that's kind of a Russian pronunciation. I love them both. It's really hard to choose. It's like picking your best pickup truck.
Picking between your children almost. You know?
So the summer one has a little bit of parsley on top, so it has a little bit of kick. And it's like we said,
The
it's
parsley gives it kick.
well,
You and I, we might have different definitions of kick.
not spicy, but
Okay.
it's fresh.
Some punch, maybe.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, instead of kicking, you're punching.
I think of kick as spice specifically.
Okay.
But maybe
sorry,
that's just me.
I misspoke once again. I don't even know why we're talking about borscht.
Yeah. So on the list of things that you didn't realize you were signing up for listening to this podcast,
But-
we've got that right at the beginning.
Yeah, so let's get it out of the way. So you and I should go to a restaurant. There's one in Denver, I believe,
Yeah.
where we can actually get. It's summer right now, so we can get some summer
Summer
milk-based borscht, and we'll report on that later.
This all came up because I was asking Andre about it, so it's got nothing to do with the rest of today's podcast.
No. It actually is referenced by what bothers me. It's like we were trying to come up with a segment name. I can't talk about grinding my gears
because that's what we say on Carish.
Yeah, so Carish is a whole different podcast which if you haven't listened to it, you should listen to.
Not that we came up with that, but yeah, we were trying to think of another way to talk about things that we're frustrated by, which was one of the ideas for today's podcast.
Yeah.
Which is not really what it ended up being. The one that I really like is what boils your brakes, which you guys came up with.
Yeah.
I think that one's really smart.
And then it transitioned into what spoils my borscht.
Spoils or boils?
Or boils, or spoils. I mean,
Okay.
something that bugs me.
Time, it sounds like.
So that's where that's from. So let's cross that out, okay?
So we talked about borscht.
No more.
Now we could get to truck news,
Yeah.
which is also an important part of the podcast today.
Exactly. So this is Tundra 2026.
Yeah.
So first of all, we've known about the new color on the TRD Pros. So this is not really news. There's some other news related to this. But they have a new color for all 2026 TRD vehicles. And Cole, there's another image, right, with the whole family. So we can see the entire family of vehicles.
And the big news that some people were hoping for is not news because it didn't happen. There's no major update to the Tundra
Or the Sequoia, for that matter.
or the Sequoia,
Yeah.
but they have done a couple things, a few tweaks, especially minor tweaks in the trim, like I think the capstone. They've got another kind of leather in there, some colors. The most interesting one, maybe, is the TRD Pro Tundra. You can now option, so it's not mandatory, but you can option the isodynamic seats on the TRD Pro like what the TRD Pro Tacoma has.
Exactly. And Cole, can you look up Tacoma dynamic seats?
And I think that seat would actually work better for the Tundra than the Tacoma because the Tacoma already has a small back seat, and these isodynamic seats are especially thick
Yeah.
from cushion to the very back of the seat. So in the Tacoma, it takes up, honestly, what is much needed space. The Tundra being a lot bigger, you could maybe sacrifice some of that space. I'm still not convinced that it's a night and day difference having these shocks in the seat versus not, but...
Well, the scientists at Toyota, I was talking to some of the people kind of behind the program for isodynamic seats. They were studying people's head movement and eye movement, right? So from their perspective, they're talking about kind of stabilizing the drivers and the passengers' heads. So it's a little bit less fatiguing, right?
Yeah.
On a long jaunt off-road.
Well, and those guys are
if you're
definitely
bouncing
smarter
around.
than I.
Well,
so
they're smarter than me as well.
I'm sure it does something.
But I agree with... So what I wasn't in love with in the Tacoma execution of those seats is that the Tacoma cabin itself is relatively a compact space because, I'm a kind of a taller dude.
Yeah.
So I really am curious if those seats in the Tundra is a much bigger vehicle, right? There's more width, there's more length to it. So I think isodynamic seats could be a lot more comfortable and useful, I think, in the Tundra.
Well, we'll have to test it out.
Yeah, we haven't tested it yet. So
not in the Tundra at least.
No. But there's a couple of other items. For example, they used to have a small gas tank in the new Tundra, 22.7 gallons or something. That's no longer an option. All new 2026 Tundras will get the 32 plus. I think it's a little bit more than 32 gallons. So that's really good news because
that's nice.
Like
Extra range.
If you're shopping for a Tundra and accidentally get the one with a smaller tank, that would be a big bummer if it if you didn't know about it or something weird happened while you were looking for it.
I believe that I read that they also put climate vents in the back of maybe some of the smaller cabs or the more basic trucks. So
they're basically, I mean, the new Tundra and the Sequoia. Well, the Tundra came out in 2022. TFL Truck actually owned a long-term one of the new Tundra. Then the new Sequoia came out in 2023, and we didn't own one. But they're built at the same factory in San Antonio, Texas, right?
Yep.
So it kind of makes sense. A change they make to one is probably will also, they can refresh some elements of the other. So that makes a lot of sense. Plus, it's kind of a mid-cycle, right? It's been 4 years for the Tundra. They want to spruce it up. But they didn't change styling. They didn't change power numbers, hybrids, nothing like that.
No, it's nothing super substantial, just some tweaks and revisions to the lineup. But I do really like the Wave Maker color. I keep wanting to say in my head Wave Runner.
Wave Maker, it's like this turquoise blue. That's how I would describe it.
It's not quite as deep of a blue maybe as the Voodoo blue that's on your 2019
quite
Tundra
distinct
Pro.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not way off. So I think it's a great color.
I want to see it in real life. I know Tommy and Roman went to Texas to a Toyota event, and they saw these in person. I haven't seen one in person yet.
I haven't either, but if it looks as good in person as it does in pictures, then this for me would be a top 3 TRD Pro color of all time.
What's the third one?
For myself.
Or what's the second one and the third one?
So maybe the second, this could be number 1, because I really like that shade of turquoise.
Okay.
Number 2 might be Luna Rock. A little more understated, but also really good color. And then Voodoo Blue might be number 3.
Well, I'm a sucker for Voodoo Blue. I bought one, actually. I also like their forest green, kind of darkish green.
It's a good color.
Which is kind of interesting. And I want to see this in person still. I'm still not sure about Wave Maker, so we'll have to wait and see.
What's your least favorite TRD Pro color there's ever been?
Wasn't there like a lime rush?
Yeah, the lime green
rush.
one.
That's
a safe that's a safe answer.
When I saw that at Overland Expo,
that was tough.
I was blinded. I had to put on sunglasses when I saw that first.
It makes a statement. I'm not sure it's the statement I would want to make.
It's almost highlighter green, yellow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So also let us know in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Give us your 3 favorites and your least favorite. I feel like this is probably going to be most people's least favorite, Electric Lime.
Yeah.
Called? Yeah.
Also, I know there's a website that ranks all 4Runner TRD Pro colors.
Yeah, but their
decisions are
wrong by my estimate.
Questionable.
Yeah.
No, but I want to see
different.
I want to see a forum rate Tundra in Tacoma colors.
Well, the comments on this video could be that forum. So
there
let
you
us
go.
know.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the Canyon. So the Canyon is our long-term vehicle.
Another funky color.
Another questionable color.
Yeah,
Funky or questionable?
I think the most questionable thing about this, I would describe it as it's a pumpkin orange. With the truck is called Pumpkin here at the office.
Yeah.
And it's that color exactly.
By the way, GMC doesn't call it pumpkin. It's
they
our
don't.
name.
But that is what the color looks like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a pale orange. I think it's unique. It's out there. I don't necessarily mind the color that much itself, but what I don't love are all the red accents next to that orange that for me kind of clash, especially the red seat belts, the red accents on the seats. GMC logo is red tow hooks. So that aspect is not my favorite. But I'm not entirely against this color. I might not buy it for myself, but I think it's interesting. It's different.
It's definitely something that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Like in the wild. But so Tommy and you're kind of following, I think, him in the Bronco. Everglades. Tommy is running first. This is the gatekeeper obstacle at Redcon that we're observing right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. If you're just listening, also thank you. But basically, the AT4X Canyon should be a really capable vehicle. It's got dual lockers, rear locker, front locker. It's got 4 low range. It's got 33s. And I see Tommy stacking rocks. Why is he stacking rocks?
Mostly because the Canyon is on 33s. It's
Okay.
an AT4X, so yeah, like you said, front and rear lockers and good suspension, DSSV spool valve shocks, some skid plating, rock sliders. So it's got a lot of what you need, but this is a genuinely challenging, very challenging trail. And 33s is pushing it as far as
Just the clearance.
yeah,
Of it.
33s is borderline not big enough to do this trail. We had to stack some rocks, so we got the truck up it fine, and the gatekeeper was mostly the only problem for getting the truck up there on 33s. But I would wager that we would be noticeably better off if this were the admittedly much more expensive AT4X AEV edition on 35s, because that truck, next to any other midsize truck, looks like it's on stilts.
Yeah, and usually when you have like a special package like AEV in this case, or maybe some other, you'd only think graphics, maybe a couple of trim pieces, but AEV edition vehicles give you additional suspension, bigger tires. It's a big step up into a different vehicle almost.
Yeah, you get a lot of features on it, so it is, the AEV edition is, no doubt about it, way tons of money for a mid-sized truck by
But
I
the
think
capability
anybody's
is there, yeah.
estimation. But for a rock crawler, it would, price aside, it would do, I think, much better on this trail. But our AT4X got up the trail. It's no worse for wear.
I have
A couple
a
spots of paint
question
underneath
and
that are rubbed off, but
I have a question and a confession. First, a question. You were in a Bronco behind Tommy on 35s.
yeah,
Did you struggle on the gatekeeper obstacle as much as Tommy did?
not nearly as much.
Really?
Yeah, and obviously there are more factors to how much clearance a vehicle has other than just tire size.
I'm sorry. I just saw Tommy putting a sucker in his mouth. This is...
Yeah,
what
Mary's
is-
face says all. That was
What is happening
That
there?
was rough.
I don't want to
I think
know.
he
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
got
very
a lollipop from the
So
gas station.
I think people have to
Couldn't be
watch the
me.
video. I think
Yeah.
people have to watch the video to find out why he is sucking on a lollipop.
I don't know if there is a good explanation. That there's no context that's gonna make.
There is no
Look, there's nothing wrong with lollipops, but if your job is to review trucks, we might have to have a conversation with Tommy about this.
Well, first, I think
Call in a team meeting.
in the meeting they'll also discuss my borscht problems. Yeah.
No, the borscht was fine.
Okay. Okay.
So anyway,
Where were we? Oh, my confession. So
Yeah,
first of all, your Bronco on 35s, not your Bronco, but the Bronco you were driving
Company
on 35s,
Bronco, yeah.
has a smaller, I believe, wheelbase, shorter wheelbase, which means it has a better breakover angle, right? So
Sure.
it's right there. You could see the Bronco you were driving. So in theory, it makes sense that the Bronco did better.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it's just bigger tires, a
And it's
little bit
also
more
it's,
clearance.
it's just a more dedicated rock crawler. The
Yeah.
Canyon AT4X is a great rock crawler. Anything with front and rear lockers is pretty much, without exception, bound to be a pretty good rock crawler. Except maybe that the Lexus LX that we had by here just didn't have enough clearance.
Well, the new Overtrail edition
Yeah.
you're talking about,
Yep,
the hybrid.
That's the one.
That
Its bumper hangs so low.
I know, but it has
And
a
its
lot of
side
good
steps are
bones.
and its side steps are so low. Well, yeah, it's got good
But it's got
bones that you
good
can't
bones.
really use.
Yeah, you just need to change the bumper, maybe.
But other than some very, very minor exceptions, anything with front and rear lockers is going to be a good rock crawler by most people's estimate. But the Bronco is a more dedicated rock crawler, I would argue, than the Canyon AT4X. So it did better. But I would also wager that the AT4X AEV would do just as well as that Bronco on that trail.
And also, the Bronco can tow or have as much payload as the Canyon.
No, they're different purposes.
Yeah, the Canyon is a better, like, all-around vehicle in general.
More utilitarian.
And my confession is, I've never driven a red cone trail.
Really?
Can you believe it?
I didn't know that. That's crazy because you've been here since like 2010.
2011.
Have you been up it? Haven't even been on.
Not by myself, not on camera.
That's crazy.
I know.
I can't believe
I've
that.
done every other trail that TFL has done, and I've done many other trails that TFL hasn't done, but I've never done red cone. So
Well,
it has to be on my
As Owen Wilson would say, wow.
wow. You know, I watched.
We got to fix that.
I watched an interview with Owen Wilson last night. It was on the Colbert Report. Anyway, there was a long interview about his.
When was the last time he was in a movie?
I don't know, but he's got a series or something on TV.
Anyway, we got to get you up Red Cone because Red Cone's awesome.
Or down it.
Have you done any of the other trails that are right around there?
Well, like it connects to like towards Webster and some others. Yeah, I've done all St. John's, Webster's.
Because you didn't. Did you guys bring? We used to have a first gen Raptor. Did you bring that on Webster?
That was Roman.
That was Roman.
I didn't go.
There for that.
I don't know. Something happens when Roman mentions Red Cone. He looks away from me, and he looks somewhere else.
That's weird.
So I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, we got to fix that, man. It's a really cool trail. If you haven't seen any of our videos on Red Cone, they're worth watching just for the scenery alone. It's also a really good test of 4x4s, so if you're interested in that as well. But either Tommy and Mary's Canyon AT4X video on Red Cone that went up recently on TFL Off-Road, or me in the full-size Bronco, probably go watch Tommy and Mary's because they're a lot more entertaining than I am.
Well, it's
But
once again, it's
you'll get good views either way.
It's a subjective thing.
It's super pretty out there. So.
But I enjoyed watching. I enjoyed the videos not just because of the vehicles and the testing you guys were doing, but also, like you said, the visuals.
Yeah.
I think Gavin was flying a drone, right? If I'm not mistaken, and Gavin picked up some really amazing scenery as well.
So I sold my Corvette, bought a Land Rover, and set about engine swapping it, lifting it, putting steel bumpers on it.
Yes.
The works. Primarily because of Red Cone.
This trail?
Tommy and I had a day on Red Cone where we brought up 2 Jeep Wranglers, went up to the top. There were some mountain goats up there. We were flying the drone. Really, really pretty. And just a nice weather, nice day in general. And that was kind of the tipping point where I decided, okay, I gotta build a 4x4 so I can go do this outside of work.
So that was really an important deciding factor. It's like quintessentially Colorado, basically. Yeah. That's what Colorado is about.
It's cool. It's
and
super cool.
You guys were lucky. I think that the weather is amazing. Look at the blue skies and all like that. But if the weather changes, it changes really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
You can get in some serious trouble potentially.
Yeah, and especially when you get to the top of Red Cone, there's a pretty steep descent as you come down. And if it were raining hard, bad weather, bad visibility, I could see that getting a little sketchy for traction and
it's above tree line. I mean, a lot of the trail is above tree line, which is high elevation.
Yeah, I want to say it's 12.8 is the top of it, so it's pretty high up.
So if you don't know about this trail, check out Onyx Off-Road Maps. You can look at the ratings, the pictures, everything like that, and also if there's camping around it, Onyx Off-Road now has dispersed camping layer as well as reception. Wait, there's some wind.
Oh, yeah, it's always windy up at the top.
Oh, my gosh, and I think Mary started a rock slide. No, never mind. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so really good trail, fun videos. Soon enough, we'll have Andre on that trail.
Okay, so I took a different GMC on a different trail we call Tombstone, because there's an actual little graveyard at the top of this trail. And I was in a brand new 2025 Sierra Heavy Duty AT4X AEV edition with an upfit package with 37s. This is the ultimate build. It also has that wonderful camper on the back of it. And a lot of accessories, lights, winches. I mean, this thing is fully outkitted.
Yeah, it's part of what the Overland Expo calls their dream build. It's a series of...
They do it once a year, basically.
Yeah, they've been doing it every year for the past couple of years since COVID. And this truck is the most recent. So because it's a dream build, it's got everything you could imagine fitted to it. It's got some prototype off-road lights from AEV. It is already an AEV package from the factory, but like you said, it's got a kit that lets you put 37s on it without any additional lift. It's got a come-up 12,000-pound winch and a camper from a company, not OEV, but AEV, but called OEV, rather.
And there's nothing electric on the truck, but the trailer comes with solar and batteries. So it could be almost an EV, but
Yeah,
it's not an EV.
yeah. So it's a slide-in camper. It's got a really solid construction to it. It's kind of like a four-wheel camper. It seems like one that could put up with quite a bit of punishment.
Exactly. Very toughly built. And here's a couple of behind the scenes, couple of stories. So first of all, Tombstone Hill is not a super difficult trail. So it's not like Redcone, right? It's rated a lot.
Sure.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
There's a lot more flat areas, like you can see in some of the images that Cole is showing, and there's a lot of people camp there actually. So it's kind of a dispersed camping area. I think you may have camped there before. Did you? Oh no, I'm thinking about
I've camped
Alex.
near there.
I think Alex
yeah.
camped somewhere near.
He
this.
has, yeah, and he's even filmed up there while he was camping. But I've camped near there at some slightly different spots, not on the same trail.
So, us, for any video, we try to present, some difficulty, right? So I went up Tombstone Hill. The video is actually coming, and I'm like, you know what? The truck was really good. It didn't struggle. It has a rear selectable locker, so not a G80. You can actually push a button,
Which is great.
And it does something, and it locks the rear end. The front is still open on this particular heavy-duty truck. It's equipped with a diesel, so 975 pound-feet of torque. So lots of torque. This truck is doing great. And then I tell our videographer, Ian, I was like, Ian, let's go higher. Let's go towards the Tombstone area, right? And I got into this area with really narrow, trees on both sides, right? Which is very common in Colorado.
Yeah, it's true.
And I passed through the first opening between the first two trees on the trail, and I got wedged in the second opening.
Yeah, and this is a pricey truck. It's going to go up for sale on Bring a Trailer in the fall to benefit the Overland Foundation,
Expo
right?
Foundation.
Overland Expo Foundation. They help out a bunch of different causes. So that's cool. But this is a pricey truck, and because it's going to be auctioned off to help a good cause, not one that you want to rub against a tree.
So, Ian is really measured, and he usually doesn't speak while we're filming because he's actually filming. But he said stop. And I knew something was not good. So I did stop, and I stopped in time because Ian helped me out. He was my spotter. And the problem really was, if I didn't have the camper, I probably would have kept going.
Yeah.
But the fact that I have another foot or a foot and a half of equipment above my already tall truck, there are some branches that were hanging down.
Makes
so
sense.
I couldn't do that.
You're going to make some sacrifices if you put a house in the back of your truck.
But not to worry, I just backed up. There's a fork in the trail. I went around, and I still was able to get to the outlook, no problems. There was a little bypass, so I still felt, like we accomplished something, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's a super cool truck, and the whole concept behind it. I like something like this even more than a lot of the really cool 4x4 Sprinter vans that we've seen and that we've tested and spent some time with, because this can pull a heavier trailer. And it's, I would argue, more athletic on a trail than a high roof van. You're not going to have quite as much comfort as you would have in a van. So it depends on your use case, how much time all at once that you realistically want to spend in it. But I would be happy being in this thing for a couple weeks in a row. Because it's got a shower cube off the side. It's got a big awning, a comfortable place to sleep and cook and...
Oh, and it's got like a water heater inside. I mean, it's got batteries, like we said. It's got solar. What I really so we don't usually focus on camper reviews. I mean, we've done them, we've lived in them.
Sure, yeah.
We've owned several. But speaking about the truck, what I loved was even if you don't want this whole build, right? Let's say it's too much money or you don't want what you're seeing. If you have a GMC heavy duty, you can buy a snorkel for it separately from AAV, and it's integrated. Everything is properly tested. You can buy their bumpers. You could buy their new light bar in the front. It's a prototype piece, but it's going on sale within a few months. That light bar, you can kind of see it in the front. They actually moved the camera from the grill into the light bar, so you're not blocked.
Yeah.
So your vision is not blocked when you're looking forward.
Which is super cool. We're not sponsored by AEV or this truck or Overland Expo or anybody,
No.
but what I do like about AEV components is that I think they have a similar to OEM level of R&D and quality control, design. So as far as aftermarket components go, they're up there with the best.
Yeah, and their bumpers.
It's pretty cool.
You could buy any bumper you want, right? There's many companies. Some people build them at home, right?
Yeah.
If you have a welder and you know how to weld. But what I've seen with some other bumpers, when you first put it on, looks nice. Come back a year or two later, you start notice a little bit of rust bubbling somewhere. Something
also,
else is happening.
Just the way that these AEV bumpers are shaped, they're shaped similar to a factory bumper. So it doesn't look like somebody took 6 pieces of flat steel and just welded them together.
Yeah.
And now you've got this Superman chin of a bumper sticking out from the front of the truck like a diving board.
Yeah.
These bumpers very, very much follow the body lines and contours of a factory truck as if it were an OEM piece. So it's pretty cool. I don't need to talk up AEV
I think we've done that.
any more than I am.
So next week, just a couple of days after this podcast airs, I have a full video about this truck. And I also did a 0 to 60. I know it's silly. I actually talked about it, how silly it was. And I did an MPG loop. I had to go to David's, our friend David Morrow, up north. So that was about 80-mile round trip.
Look, we're only human, and if you give us trucks, we're going to see what they accelerate like.
Well, you know what I was thinking? And I think Roman was against this. He's like, why are you reviewing this dream build? Because there's only one of these trucks. And I was also thinking to myself, a lot of people out there, they like lifting their vehicles.
Yeah, they kit out trucks.
And a lot of people put campers in the back of them. So I actually wanted to see, you know what? This was done as a dream build. Let's actually see how it works. And it was actually pretty fast. It's a fast diesel. This diesel was moving.
It's got a lot of torque.
Yeah. Anyways, so before we go to drag racing with trailers, you and I have a new thing that we're looking for on Marketplace and other sites.
Yeah, well, Andre and I have been scheming, and so we've both been looking around Marketplace. I've got too many ongoing projects that I need to finish. So
and I do too, kind of.
Yeah, so we might not actually pull the trigger is the bummer intro to this little segment. But
oh boy.
The idea would be to find an old cab over and make something out of it. We kind of have different ideas, different approaches. My idea,
yes,
some would say the better plan.
Cole, can you fast forward to Case's idea?
So my idea,
yes,
as you'll soon find out, the better idea, is to take a cab like this 1952 Ford F5 cab, which is a super cool cab. It's got
cab over cab.
Awesome, oh yeah, cab over.
Yes.
Awesome patina on it. And my thought is you take that cab, drop it on an already running and driving, more modern tow truck or something that you could take the boring 90s or 2000s cab off of, put this cool 1952 cab onto that running driving truck. So you've got good brakes, good steering, good four-wheel drive, good suspension, all that. Build out a nice bed for the back of it, and then you put your hot rod on the back of that.
Are you talking about a ramp truck?
Man, yeah, maybe something like that. I mean, it would be cool. It'd be cool if you had a tow truck with a bed that could tilt and drop down.
Like an actual flatbed tow truck.
Exactly. So something along those lines. Maybe do something to make the bed itself look a little more
pleasing to the eye.
Retro, kind of restructure, reconstruct the bed to match the cab a little bit more. But use a modern chassis and underpinning to make a tow truck out of something like this. Put your hot rod on it.
Well, okay.
Flathead V8.
I'm going to tell you why you're wrong in a second.
Matching patina.
Sure. Cole, can you Google
Sounds like a good idea.
Classic cab over ramp truck? Because this is a genre that exists already, right? They actually have like Hot Wheels toys. I don't think it has to be a Ram.
Yeah, ramp.
Ramp.
With a P.
Sorry.
There you go. Ooh,
Yeah, like this black one or the red and black one. So basically kind of a vehicle that's really ultra cool, but it carries another vehicle on top of it.
It's got a hot rod on the back of it.
Yeah, it's got a hot rod. So it's
If we
a
scroll
vehicle.
around, we might be able to find a picture of one. I found a really cool picture of a yellow one at one point. Should I airdrop it to you?
You could airdrop, but while you're airdropping, let me explain to you why your idea is maybe not ideal.
No.
No, it has a like a rat rod or a hot rod on the back of it. There it goes, dude. Live airdropping.
I know we're so high tech at this office. It's insane.
Wait a minute. But this bed is like a articulating bed, like you're talking about.
Perhaps. I've never met this truck, but it would be cool if that's how it worked. So I love the idea of a matching hot rod and truck going together, combining to make a really cool rig.
Like his and hers, so to speak.
Or his and his in this situation, both mine. But the patina on that Ford cab over is already really cool, and you could fudge it and paint up your hot rod to match. That combo would be sweet. But I like the idea of modern enough underpinnings. They're already sorted out. You don't have to engineer your own steering system and make something four-wheel drive that wasn't already four-wheel drive and all that. You can just have fun taking a reasonably modern, good driving platform, put the old school body on it, register it as a 1952 to make life easier, and put a hot rod on it.
But that requires that 1952 Ford cab to come with a VIN and paperwork and
which is not impossible.
It's not impossible, but
yeah, it can.
But
they're out there.
Yeah, okay.
What's your idea?
Very compelling. I was kind of kidding when I said your idea was bad and wrong. I was lying.
Because no one could seriously believe that.
But I went out to search, and I also found this. This is a 1955 Dodge job-rated J cab over truck.
Yeah, which these are now photos that you actually took.
Yeah,
I was actually, you went and saw this truck.
Yeah, this is not a dream. I was actually called this dude. He was nearby. Really cool dude. His name is Mo. Met Mo at his farm. There were chickens and goats and sheep walking around. So I felt not super comfortable. This goat came up to me and was poking me in the leg.
You and goats don't get along?
Well, I'm okay with goats, but I was
because they got weird eyes, isn't it?
They have weird eyes. Well, listen to this. I mean, watch this clip. Just a second.
I love that job-rated badge.
Job-rated badge.
We should bring that back. That's way better than Super Duty or HD or
Well,
anything.
Ram, are you listening? Ram.
Job-rated.
Is anybody from Ram listening? Job-rated. That means it can do any job. So you know what I found out when I was looking at this Dodge?
Is that a flathead straight six?
It looks like it, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
This was like a lifelong project of an old man who was either unfortunately unable to continue, right? He was getting really high up there in age. But look at this thing. He really loved this thing. You could tell all the little elements. He fixed the rust. He fixed all the little things about it.
The metalwork looks really good.
The metalwork is not all painted, but it looks. Look, there's love everywhere. The muffler is clean. It's brand new. He painted the transmission. It looks like whoever was a custodian of this vehicle was very much into it and really took great care of it. The tires are dry rotted, right? The tires are bad and old.
Find me an old cab over that doesn't have dry rotted tires.
No,
I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
No, it's a two-wheel drive.
It pretty much doesn't exist.
It's a two-wheel drive.
Two-wheel drive.
As most job-rated trucks were, because there were box trucks, there were tow recovery vehicles. So most of them were not four-wheel drive, if any, in those years. So.
You aren't kidding. Those tires, for those who are listening, I'll narrate for you. Andre pans to old Goodyear tires that have not dry rot so much as canyons that have formed in the sidewall.
You could see inside of the tire through the side of the tire.
Yeah.
A little bit. So, but that's okay. You could replace a tire. That's not a big deal.
6?
6 of them. So,
It's like
Here's-
you were shooting a thumbnail. It looks like you were planning to buy it.
And then this was several days ago. And then I consulted many people, consulted my wife.
Yeah, I
Consulted.
thought she might have been one of the consultants.
Yes, she was one of the consultants.
Not all the consultants were on board.
Not all of them. Some consultants said that the price was too high. This particular unit was asking just over 10 grand, which is not insane.
I don't
because look, you saw how well loved this vehicle was.
100%.
But it just, I wanted something that, and by the way, I still have a F600.
That's true. You're
that I
collecting
need
big
to-
trucks.
Which, well, actually, there's some news coming up about that.
When it's not necessarily unfair that your consultants weren't all on board because you have a couple trucks already.
I know, because one of them is a Russian van, the Buhanka. Another one is a Ford that I might actually part ways with. So that's there's a bigger story there, but we'll get to that another time. And also, I told David about this truck. You know the first thing he said?
Yippee!
I have a Cummins laying around. We got to do this.
Good plan. Trade a straight six for a straight six.
It
Even
already
trade.
it already has a straight six.
And being rear wheel drive is simple enough.
So there are those things, but at this moment, I don't think I could swing one. Mainly because I don't have anywhere to store it other than asking Roman for a little bit of space, which I'm already kind of overstepping. You know, I'm storing my Buhanka, you know, at Tommy's and Roman's ranch. So,
And the F600.
and the F600.
And some wheels.
And some wheels. So I'm already overstepping quite a lot. So if I was to overstep again, plus, you know, my boss, my wife, she wasn't super thrilled. I think for the same reason. You know, if you and I were, you know, went together and bought a barn and some piece of land somewhere,
Yeah.
and we had an actual, like a lift and a way to work on vehicles, this would make sense, right? But I currently don't have a lift or a barn.
Well, the way I see it, since you're talking about selling the Ford F600, it's one in, one out.
There you go. I
Price
think
price difference doesn't matter.
price difference could be there, but yes.
Inconsequential.
Uh-huh.
That's not important.
So anyways,
Money's not important.
so
Vehicles are important. Trucks. Cab overs.
yes.
You dig?
But by the way, do you think what's more handsome, this Dodge cab over or the Ford cab over? In your mind, what's more handsome?
I like the patina on the Ford. The big difference,
Is the front end, really?
yeah, and I think I would argue maybe the Ford is a little better looking. It's maybe not as unique because I feel like I've seen these Fords around. Not that I see cab overs a ton, but this maybe a little more often than the Dodge. So the Dodge is arguably more unique. I think the big difference here is, I guess it depends on what you want to do with them, because this is a cool, seems like
But
relatively
it's already really nice.
original truck. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily want to tear this one apart. 'Cause
No,
it's
I would
already
never.
kind of good as what it
Yeah.
is. But if I'm going to build something like this, it would be sweet if it not only looked cool, but I could use it for something. And if I put an old school cab on top of a modern enough tow truck chassis, then there's no reason that I couldn't actually put a car on the back of it and tow highway speeds to get stuff done. So then it would, for me at least, tick multiple boxes. Now, I'm not really at a point where I need a big cab over tow truck.
Not yet.
We're working toward it.
Not
We're
yet.
working on it, though.
Not yet.
Yeah, I need a little bit more space.
Just some time.
I have
What?
8. They're not all mine.
You have 8?
Thank God. I have, so in the backyard of my house, not even what's parked in front of the house, but in the backyard, which is not massive, there's a 3-car garage, there's 8 cars, and some amount of motorcycles.
So we could see that you have a problem.
There's like
Yeah.
there's like 5 full-size bikes and 3 mini bikes.
Sure. Why not? We all have problems. So on that note,
I don't think it's a problem. I'm
No,
just saying. I don't need a tow truck.
I was kidding.
Well, I do need a tow truck. I don't have room for a tow truck.
Yeah, you do need one.
I do need a tow truck.
Except you have nowhere to put it. By the way, this seller also had some other trucks, like the 60s Ford big giant F600, which a tree hit.
Yeah.
And it looks like a cartoon character.
It looks sad.
Like when I was looking at it, it looks like an actual cartoon.
And that is sad because that's a cool cab.
Yeah.
So
very
that's
cool
a bummer.
cab.
But,
So that's enough about old trucks, probably.
well, yeah.
No, actually,
For now.
we should.
For now.
I could talk for another hour about this topic.
It's going to be a double feature.
I'm sure Cole, our producer Cole, is very excited by this because
Cole could listen to us talk about old trucks for a long time. He has a Banks T-shirt, and he's a big truck guy.
and he also has a Mint 400 T-shirt.
He's
also.
wearing a Mint 400 T-shirt right now.
Yeah.
It's a cool race.
Let's talk about new trucks because we started the show with new trucks, and let's talk about what happened. So we wanted to do another drag race, a trailer drag with half-ton trucks. So in order to accomplish this, first of all, we need to have competitive trucks.
Yeah.
And hopefully from multiple brands. So we have an F-150 V8 Tremor that we own, that TFL owns.
Yeah.
So now the idea came about, how about we get a Ram V8 and a Chevrolet or GM V8 to go along with it. So that's what we tried to do.
And our friends at Johnson Auto Plaza came through and helped us out by finding us a couple of trucks that fit the bill. So we had a 6.2 Silverado, because if you're going to be drag racing with a trailer, you want the more powerful V8. So that's what we got. We had a 5.7 powered Ram 1500. And yeah, we did a lot of towing yesterday. Again, probably 7 hours.
And then our friends at Complete Trailers were able to find a couple trailers for us, which were not identical, quite identical as we wanted them to be. One of the trailers was a little bit taller, almost 5 or 6 inches taller than the other one. And they're also different weights. So we tried to mitigate this problem by loading different things inside of these trailers.
Exactly.
To make them a little bit closer.
So we got within a couple 100 pounds. We put the heavier side-by-side in the lighter trailer, lighter side-by-side in the heavier trailer. So we were pretty close. And actually the lighter trailer with the lower roof was ultimately the heavier trailer.
So we felt like it kind of broke even.
Yeah, and
at that point.
Honestly, our top speeds that we were hitting at the end of the strip was less than 70 miles an hour. So I don't know how much drag from the taller trailer really...
Because we're talking about seconds.
Yeah, really played into it.
We're not doing like efficiency testing.
Not saying that there's no air resistance at 67 miles an hour, but I don't think it's the biggest factor.
Something kind of funny happened.
Yeah, that's true.
When we pulled up to many things happened. But when we pulled up, Cole is showing the actual drag race right now. And one of the things I did in one of the races, when we're all set.
Yeah, here, we can watch it here.
Okay.
Countdown to the beginning of the race.
And nothing.
There goes the Ram.
And I was in park.
Yeah, so trucks drag race better in drive. The thing is, though, a little behind the scenes, most of the time when you see us do a drag race, see us do a start, that's the first one and the only one that we filmed. Because days like this, Andre and I have...
Well, we were up against the deadline.
Yeah, we've got about a 10-hour day just getting to the strip to race and then getting all this equipment back. So we don't usually have time to do a dozen runs and then take the best one where we look like awesome, super professional, rad drivers.
Yeah.
We usually run it once.
And if we're not unhappy,
so long as
we
nothing,
could redo it.
Yeah. If something catastrophic happens,
yeah.
For sure. If we really need to, we'll run it again. But a lot of the time, you see the first race that we've done, and you see our reactions to finding out the results for the first time.
Yeah.
But yeah, every now and then it's happened to me as well. That you're in park, you're not in drive. There's so many things going on. You're starting cameras. You're making sure that everything is set to go that you actually forget to put your vehicle in drive. It happens.
And also, for example, like you and I were matching our modes. Like we wanted to make sure, because we ran both with trailers and without. So like if you're in tow haul mode, I had to be in tow haul mode too, and traction control off. By the way, we do traction control off because with it on, if there was any spin, the computer would kind of hold back power, and sometimes it's noticeable, sometimes it's unnoticeable. But we don't want to play around with that. We want the driver to kind of control it themselves.
Yeah, we don't want to hit a power cut.
Yeah.
But the other thing that is a perfectly valid question, because the last time we did a towing drag race, we were in HD trucks that had 1,000 or more pound-feet of torque.
Sometimes 1,200.
Yeah, in the Ford. So there was a lot of wheel spin, which was a factor. And people were asking why we didn't do the race in four-wheel drive, which is a perfectly fair question. When we've raced the trucks on their own, there's not a substantial difference between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. Granted, with the trailer that you're pulling against and the length of the burnout, basically, that we were fighting to try to not do, I'm sure the trucks would have hooked up better in four-wheel drive. But the other consideration is that 2 of the 3 trucks, when we did this drag race and when we did the HD drag race, don't belong to us.
And also, sometimes they have all-wheel drive modes, sometimes they don't have all-wheel drive modes.
Yeah, so they don't always necessarily match up perfectly. But the thing is, we don't want to put an excessive amount of wear or potentially break something in the driveline. We would rather have wheel spin when you're fighting to accelerate as hard as possible with a trailer behind you, than have the truck hook up with 1,200 pound-feet of torque and several hundred pounds of tongue weight on the rear end. It shouldn't break anything, but if it did, then we're on the hook for fixing a maybe $80,000 and $90,000
but also
HD
a long
truck
day becomes longer.
Doesn't belong to us. And then if we start breaking the trucks that are lent to us, it's going to be harder for us to get trucks lent for any kind of video
in the future,
and that's not going to help anybody.
Yeah, so that's a huge consideration.
That's kind of the reasoning. You can accept that or not.
Yeah, a lot of people don't accept it.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, I'm sure the trucks would hook up better if they were in four-wheel drive. The HDs especially, we didn't get much wheel spin on the half tons here.
No, actually 400 pound-feet of torque or 460 pound-feet of torque or 410, which some of these trucks had, was actually the right amount of torque.
Yeah.
Because you and I didn't have trouble with losing a lot of traction. We were just, especially towing 7,000 pounds like we did with these trailers, we were doing pretty well, I thought. The other thing I was going to say, when we showed up at the trailer place with the trucks that we got, they started laughing at me. Remember this? Because we agreed to find 28 footers. And when they saw 28 footers and we pulled up in 1,500 trucks, they said, you need a bigger truck.
And they were kind of right.
So I just want to make sure this is known, because whenever we talk about towing trailers, everybody says, oh, I tow something much bigger than you guys tow, and I tow it, from here to New York City. But the fact is, we had some wind, we had some trailer sway, pulling 28 footers, loaded or actually unloaded too.
Yeah, and our mirrors in any of these trucks weren't towing specific mirrors. They weren't really up to the task of looking around the trailer very effectively. So maneuvering these trailers through tight spaces where you're having a hard time getting a full view of the side of the trailer was just that much more of a task. Not impossible, but not as fun. And I think especially when the trailers were empty, they were getting blown around by the wind. And yeah, going down the highway.
That's not a good feeling.
Nothing dramatic, nothing super concerning, but for sure some sway.
And you and I had to lower our speeds. We did a few miles of interstate driving, not many, but the miles we did were, I felt like we needed to slow down a little bit because going 75 in a situation like this at high winds also was not a good situation. So,
no, it's not great.
Yeah.
So it's
anyway.
all manageable. You can do it, But we get to pull with so many different truck and trailer combinations that we're kind of spoiled, and we notice it when a truck and trailer combination isn't behaving as we want it to. So we've pulled very similar trailers to this with an HD, and then going back to back into a 1500. It's a night and day difference.
Exactly. And we were doing all the right things. We have way safe hitches. We made sure our tongue loads were accurate and precise and correct. 10% of the trailer should be on your hitch when you're pulling a bumper pull trailer like this. So we did all the good things, used brand new equipment, right? And we also used my wonderful mud flaps as well, which the folks at Complete Trailers also gave me a little bit of grief.
They did. Andre pulled out his homemade rock guards.
We call them stone stoppers, by the way.
Yeah, they're not rock tamers, but Andre handmade them. Shows a good bit of initiative. But the guys at Complete Trailers said it looks like these were welded up by some foreigner, and
which they're not wrong, technically speaking.
Technically, that's exactly what you did. Yeah, I guess they're not welded; they're bolted.
No, they're bolted. They're one.
So they were bolted together by some foreigner.
I don't know how to weld, so I mean that's basically.
Tommy does.
I should have asked Tommy.
Employ him.
You know, you might be wondering why didn't I buy a couple of professionally built rock tamer mud flaps? You're probably wondering this, right?
Yeah, I feel like we're big enough to buy some rock tamers.
But it's not as fun. It's not as fun to buy rock tamers.
It might be.
No, dude. I spent like a day at my house working with my son. You know, we enjoyed putting something together, and people are laughing at it. So I think it's a little bit more fun. You know, it's doing some, like you said, you know, just making something out of nothing. So
no. In all seriousness, no shade on it because
but it's functional. Look at this. It's blocked. It's sweeping the ground after the truck. It's basically a hitch-mounted mud flap.
Well, and you built them initially for the HD truck drag race,
so
and
taller.
These trucks were not quite as tall. But no, to be fair to you, you went out and built the thing and it works.
So, and that we're doing it to protect the trailers, really, because when you go on gravel roads, or actually our airstrip also has a few stones and rocks.
Ton of gravel on it,
Even though it's not a gravel road, it's a paved road, but it's kind of falling apart a little bit. When those rocks are flinging at 70 miles an hour, that becomes very dangerous.
Yeah, and we don't want to pepper the fronts of those trailers that they're letting us borrow with rocks.
So I'm still
stone stoppers.
I still stand by the stone stoppers. I think it should be a thing, and everybody should build their own stone stoppers. I'll offer my design and plan.
Put the blueprints out there.
My blueprints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you made a blueprint, right?
No, not yet. You know who should put out blueprints is David. David has built so many incredible things that nobody laughs at. They're
that's
very
true.
solid.
He makes good stuff.
His truck, Helen, you should watch his project truck that we recently did a video on. Helen is an off-road recovery truck. And dude, the crane and the bed design, and he put like 4 different winches inside of this bed.
Yeah.
2 pointing outward to help people, and 2 winches inside the bed to run the crane, actually.
David is all of our hero because if David needs something, he rarely buys it. He just makes it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
He told me recently, I just visited him last week, like I told you. He said, I need a trailer. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'm building one. He bought a really like broken down trailer, you know, so he has something to start from.
Yeah.
And now he's rebuilding the whole thing. He moved the axles. He's turning into this pretty heavy duty unit. So
that's what he does.
That's how David works.
It's pretty awesome.
So anyways. So but wait, I wanted to ask this. Why are we even bothering drag racing with trailers? Why?
Well, and it's funny because we see that comment sometimes. Why does it matter? You guys are stupid. Part of pulling trailers is accelerating. It happens most times when you drive. And especially up here in the mountains, vehicles can struggle. If you're trying to go up I-70, steep grades like we do on the Ike, power matters if you're pulling a heavy trailer. and more power is better power. So
Yeah, and also
we're also childish, and we like to see how fast things are.
sure, but like I think something happened in a heavy duty drag race specifically also that you discover something about a vehicle that is not discoverable if you didn't have a heavy load behind it. Like for example, the Cummins Ram 2500 actually performed better with a trailer, I felt like, than
Yeah.
without.
Yeah.
Compared to other trucks.
Yeah, compared to others.
So sometimes you discover something about a vehicle where that straight six diesel was actually enjoying pulling a trailer. You
Yeah.
know, the V8, are great and very fast trucks, the Chevy V8 and then the Ford V8 diesels. But it seemed like the Cummins just came into its own a little bit better than some others.
And accelerating isn't everything. That's why we do the Ike, so we can test braking, we can test ride and handling and hitching up and all the other components to towing. But it is fun to put trucks side by side and see which one is the best at accelerating a trailer down the strip. It was also funny. Fair. I'm about to make it sound like it's a dumb thing, but there were several comments saying on the HD drag race that we should do the same thing, but with much heavier trailers.
Sure.
I guess because that drag race we did with the trailers we were pulling was too fast.
Well, we were reaching 75, 76
75 miles an hour. at
which
the
is
end of the
actually
quarter.
interstate speed. So that's
true.
not that's relatable. You
So that drag race was much too fast. We need heavier trailers, slow things down.
But
No, but it would be good. It
But I
would
would
be good.
agree
In all
because
seriousness, it
because
would
you
be.
could discover something more. I hope you don't discover breakage. But because if you put 30,000 pounds behind a dually and then do just some drag racing, something interesting could happen.
That'd be intense.
And part of that something could be either breakage, but you could also discover something else about those trucks that you didn't know existed. Maybe some of them would overheat. Maybe some of them, because if we do a couple of different runs,
Maybe some of them would end up with no rear tires
maybe some of them will smoke the tires to nothing.
whole way.
So I would say it's not out of the question. I actually brought it up during the meeting where we should tow drag race heavy.
With dualies?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Let us know what else would you like to see us drag race with. Maybe turbocharged trucks, which are brand new. Maybe smaller trucks.
Yeah.
Maybe we've done electric drag racing without trailers, and those vehicles are just ridiculous. Those vehicles like the Rivians and the Hummer EV and a lot of the others, they're just super mega fast.
Yeah, and especially up here at altitude.
They're sick.
Atmosphere is a little thinner, and that
Yeah.
doesn't impact the EVs.
Yeah.
If anything, it's actually a little easier
Yeah.
for the EVs because they're not pushing as much air out of the way. So whereas a combustion vehicle is usually slower at altitude, EVs are usually marginally faster.
Exactly. So we're open to your suggestions. If you told us don't ever do this again, we probably won't.
Yeah.
But if you told us, hey, we want to see something else, maybe V8 versus turbo, see how the turbocharger affects or changes that towing experience, so we can do that too.
Let us know. We go where the people want us to go. That's the goal.
Yes. All right. Thanks for joining us on this one, and we'll see you next time. This was episode 289.
Wow.
So next time it will be at 290.
Yeah. Getting close to 300.
Nice. What are we going to do for 300th episode?
Something special. Have a barbecue.
Cole will probably present us with a cake. That would be nice.
That would be cool.
If Cole gave us a cake.
For 300, we should do a live audience podcast.
That would be big. That would be.
So they can see behind the camera Cole just bored out of his mind.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
that
let's
would be
do it.
fun. All right. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.